let's take a look in the trenches, and let's take a look on the other side of the trenches, the defensive linemen, the big hog mollies up front, the ones who are getting it done in the trenches defensively. And again, much like we were talking about with offensive linemen, unless you are putting up like wowza stats, I think that most defensive linemen are anonymous. And the other thing about it is that I think most interior defensive linemen are largely anonymous, right? Mm-hmm. There's a couple of exceptions. Keandre Coburn was not anonymous at Spring Westfield. Yeah. A few other guys who like big guys in the middle that can really dominate. But unless you are just jumping off the page, an interior defensive lineman is certainly pretty anonymous. And then there are so many good rush ends that I think that
they steal the
thunder,
attention.
Right?
Yeah.
So I've kind of highlighted 5 defensive linemen that I think you need to know for the 2018 Texas high school football season, one in each classification, one in each 11-man classification, and got ones that I think a little bit overshadowed for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. Let's start in Houston, and a bear trap first name, Jevon.
We're going with Javon, right?
Javon. I'm going to go with Javon. It could be Javen. It could be Javon.
Yeah.
Could be anything. We're going to go with Javon. I'm very sorry to the Leon family. Javon Leon, the defensive end from A-Leaf Hastings. Put up big numbers last year. 72 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks. He's a monster off the edge for the Fighting Bears. But I think that he's overlooked for a couple of reasons. One, I think the Houston area is just chock full of great defensive linemen.
It's true. Yeah.
Like it's
kind
really
of an
hard.
underrated thing we don't talk about a lot, but there are a lot of great ones down there.
It's hard to stand out in Houston because there are so many really good defensive linemen down there. There's that. The second thing is Hastings was a pretty good team that nobody paid attention to. They went 6-3 and lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they finished the regular season with a 6-2 record. Their first 2 games got washed out by Hurricane Harvey. And so I think that kind of took a little bit of starch out of it as well. Is that he didn't play enough games.
Right.
He played really for a guy who, for a playoff team that went 5-1 district, finished second in their district. They played 2 fewer games than most every other team. So those numbers, when they are kind of put against put as far as rate stats are concerned, are really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. But I think that the overall kind of numbers don't jump off the page at you because he didn't play 2 games. But Javon Leon is coming back for A-Leaf Hastings, the Fighting Bears. He's coming back in a name to know on the defensive line in 2018 Texas high school football. Another one in the 5A level. Let's go to San Antonio.
All right.
San Antonio Southside. San Antonio Southside has a defensive lineman by the name of Gabriel Morris, and you need to know all about this guy. This guy's pretty much a true rush end. You can talk about him from a linebacker perspective. They're going to stand him up. They're going to move him around. Coach Ricky Locke really likes what he's got from the Cardinals defensive lineman here. 96 tackles, 21 tackles for loss, 14 sacks. He batted down 4 balls last year. 6'2", 210, a rush end. This guy was the district newcomer of the year. He was on the all-state team at the defensive end spot. I think that at 6'3", 210. 6'2", 210 rather. You'd like to see him maybe put on a little bit of weight, but
sure.
like right now, things are looking very good. And a big reason why we think that the defense for San Antonio Southside for Coach Ricky Locke's squad, 8 starters returning, starting with Gabriel Morris. And when you've got that rush end, that solves a lot of your other problems, right?
Yeah.
So Gabriel Morris is a guy to know at San Antonio Southside, defensive end down there for the Cardinals, a name to know in 2018. Let's go to Sweeney.
Love this pick.
Josh Ellis.
Yeah.
Josh Ellis was the district defensive player of the year for Coach Randy Lynch down there at Sweeney, and big-time playmaker. 82 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Undersized, 6 foot, 195 pounds. Not the kind of guy that you're going to the numbers. Look, let's put it this way: walking off the bus, he's probably not going to be the guy that makes you nervous. But
sure.
He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
He's a playmaker who is all over the, who's always all over the field. The defensive player of the year last year for their district, and a guy at the defensive end spot who gets by on pretty good quickness and speed.
Yeah.
And when you go down to the 4A level, you don't have to be huge. if you are quick enough, which Josh Ellis is most certainly quick enough, this is a guy to keep an eye on. This is for, the leader of a defense that led them to the regional finals last year.
Extremely underrated program.
Yeah, what Sweeney's done really, what Coach Randy Lynch has done just in 2 years there. He's 15-8 in 2 seasons there with the Bulldogs. This is a guy to keep an eye on is Josh Ellis. He's going to have some help back there defensively, but Josh Ellis is a guy you need to know for the Sweeney Bulldogs. The 3A level, let's go to Buffalo, the Bison. The Bison of Buffalo have a great defensive tackle named Jesus Garcia, and he is doubly overlooked, okay? One, triply overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
One, he's a 3A defensive lineman. It is very hard to get noticed as a 3A defensive lineman. There's that. That's one. Two, you could make the argument he's not even the best defensive lineman on his own team. They have Chase Thompson coming back, a second-team All-State guy, and he's a defensive end, and the defensive ends get the sack numbers, and they get the really, the impressive stuff. But I will tell you that if you look at Jesus Garcia, in fact, you could make an argument he's the third best defender on his own team.
Mm-hmm.
They got a linebacker coming back in Marshall Jonas, who is really fantastic as well. He's also a defensive tackle, so he's inevitably going to be overlooked.
Yeah.
6'5", 300 at a 3A squad.
A 3A team.
3A team.
Yeah. That's the guy that does get off the bus and you go, crap.
Yeah, that's a guy you worry about.
Yeah.
Okay? Jesus Garcia at the defensive tackle spot is kind of the tip of the spear for this Buffalo defense that could be really, really good next year. It was great last year. They bring back a lot of those key pieces, and a lot of the headlines are going to go towards Chase Thompson, and a lot of them are going to go towards the linebacker Marshall Jonas, probably because those guys are going to have the numbers, right? They're going to have, Marshall Jonas is going to be over 100 tackles. Chase Thompson's probably going to have, 10 sacks. Jesus Garcia may not have those numbers, but he's maybe the most integral part of what the Buffalo defense wants to do. So Jesus Garcia is a guy to keep an eye on. And finally, let's go to Dillon and Coach David Yeager's squad. When you talk about Dillon this year, and you're going to talk about the coach's kid, you're going to talk about Kevin Yeager, their outstanding quarterback, and he's fantastic. But they also have the district defensive MVP coming back in Keelan Hodges, a defensive end, 5'9", undersized, 5'9", 165 pounds, but that dude just gets it done. 100 tackles, 22 tackles for loss, 10 sacks. This guy was a monster for the Bearcats defense, and on a team that has a superstar quarterback.
Yeah,
I think it's easy to forget there is another side of the ball.
Nice to have a counterpoint too.
Exactly, and so when you have this guy in Keelan Hodges, I think they've got a real playmaker at the defensive end spot that you want to keep an eye on. Keelan Hodges from Dillon at the 2A level. Keep an eye on him in 2018. Those are defensive linemen. I could have gone on and on and on. There are about 10 million that deserve mentioning. Those are 5 who really popped off the page.
We got a couple in the comments, too.
Yeah, a couple.
Shea Harris, of course, San Angelo super fan.
Oh, hey. I wonder what team he's nominating, guy.
It's a guy from Permian, believe it or not. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
curious.
I was going to
say. I believe you say this is
it's a guy from Tascosa.
Zakarian Polk.
Okay.
6'3", 290, and can move like a ballerina, which just makes me wonder how much ballet are you watching, Shay?
6'3", 290 is pretty.
Can move like a ballerina. I like it. And then, of course, Lehman's here with his six-man nomination. He goes with Corbin Strokta, I think.
Okay.
Strokey. 5'6", 160 at Milford. Tackle machine. First team All-State defensive end. 203 tackles, led 1A.
203 tackles. Look at that done. A lot of great defensive linemen out there.
Good picks.
A lot of good picks out there. These are ones you need to know for 2018.